This video is designed to demonstrate a good progression to learn the skill of tethering and to demonstrate safe and effective technique. Before actually getting behind a sit ski to start tethering, you should practice and be proficient at a few skiing techniques. Here you will see them being demonstrated. Synchronized skiing, modified wedge turn, stem step turns, side slips, falling leaf, Once you've mastered those skiing techniques, it's time to start working with the equipment. First-time tetherers should always start by having sandy in the bucket. Usually using the Mountain Man with fixed outriggers is most appropriate. Make sure that sandy is balanced laterally and fore and aft in the bucket to make it easier to tether. Make sure that sandy is secure. The volunteer should start to feel how the bi-ski moves. Rotate it on the flat ski and move it back and forth on a carved edge. Next, get volunteer to practice skating around with sandy on the flats. Have the volunteer do hockey stops by skating and then turn the bucket on the flat ski. Before going up on the lift, make sure that the tethers are secured on the bucket or on your person. The fixed outriggers should be removed and stored safely. The bi-ski should be in load mode. For the Mountain Man, that means that the Miller pin should be removed. The retention strap is out and ready to wrap around the back of the chairlift with a non-locking carabiner. The evac strap is accessible with a locking carabiner. And lastly, always do a practice lift. Once at the top of the lift, there are a few safety policies you have to remember. Return the ski to ski mode. That means replacing the Miller pin on the Mountain Man. When performing a bucket assist or tethering with fixed outriggers, the instructor must have 2 points of contact with the ski. A tether needs to be attached to the skin of both wrists. And be sure to wrap up the tethers so that they do not get caught up in any of the skis. Remove fixed outriggers when performing a full run bucket assist. It is important to learn to safely perform a bucket assist down the beginner hill for the following reasons. It will make you a better tetherer, and you may need to use this skill on cat tracks, if an outrigger breaks, or if the student gets tired or fearful. Appropriate technique looks like having a wide stance, being able to find the flat ski to perform controlled skidded parallel turns, being able to do a hockey stop, and once you develop more skill, you can work on controlled and slow carved turns. The next step would be tethering with a person in the fixed outrigger bucket and then progress to tethering someone with handheld outriggers. Now we can learn to control the ski with tethers through a series of progressions. First, practice a straight run in a wedge on flatter terrain. This will help you develop a light touch with the tethers. Try to keep the ski as balanced as possible. If the ski starts to oscillate, pull back on the tethers to get balance again. You may have to wrap up the tethers to grab onto the ski and reset. Work on making small directional changes by pulling on the tethers, but keep it balanced and do not set the outriggers down on the snow. Also work on wrapping and unwrapping your tethers. After doing straight runs, practice making completed turns with the bi-ski. Proper tethering technique for you includes remaining behind and slightly uphill of the skier. You are synchro skiing with the sit skier. Look for subtle cues of when the bi-ski plans to start turn initiation. Do not follow directly behind the skier. You should have a slightly narrower corridor than the bi-skier. This is the safest positioning and you have the most control this way. As a beginner tetherer, you should ski with a neutral modified wedge position. Make your turn as you are initiating the turn of the sit ski. It can be dangerous to make your turns before or after the sit ski makes its turns. Keep your hands in what is called the power box. That means between your hips and chest. Your elbows are bent and close to your body, and the tethers are taut. The power box gives you room to move and adjust your arms as you tether.
Initiate turns by pulling down and inside with the inside tether and up and inside with the outside tether.
Once the volunteer has developed skills in turning and keeping the skier safe and in control, you may introduce the stem step turn to a side slip. Remain in a wedge until the bi-skier is set securely on the snow. Pull up on the downhill tether to keep the ski securely on the snow, as you don't want it tipping to the other side when you have not intended it to. Then perform your stem step turn to a side slip. Return to a modified wedge prior to starting your next turn so as to assure you have the ability to react quickly to move in either direction. To perform a quick hockey stop, turn the ski quickly onto one outrigger and pull up on the outside tether. Turn your skis to a quick hockey stop in the same direction. Once the tetherer has developed good tethering skills with Sandy, then you may progress to having a person with fixed outriggers in a bucket and then a person with handheld outriggers. Technique for tethering is still the same. Next, you can practice with different levels of tethering support for your bi-skier. Tighter tethers for a student who is more dependent for turning, and looser tethers for a student who has more control over their turning. Lastly, it's always good to get in the sit ski to see how different tethering techniques and levels of support affects your turning.